Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today as we explore a topic that's surprisingly close to all our hearts. Have you ever noticed how often we talk about the weather? It's the ultimate conversation starter, a safe topic that brings people together no matter where you are or who you're with. Whether you're waiting for a bus, catching up with a neighbor over the fence, or just making small talk in a lift, a quick comment about the sun or rain connects us all. It's a shared experience, something everyone can relate to. And it helps break the ice in even the most awkward situations. The weather shapes our daily plans, our moods, and even our wallets. Think energy bills in a cold snap. When temperatures drop, we all feel it, not just in the air, but in our homes and our bank accounts. It influences what we wear, how we travel, and even what we eat. For many, it's more than small talk. Farmers, builders, and anyone working outdoors depend on accurate forecasts to plan their days and protect their livelihoods. A sudden change in weather can mean the difference between a good day's work and a major setback. As winter approaches, our fascination grows. Will it be a mild season? Or are we in for snow and icy roads? The uncertainty keeps us checking forecasts and swapping predictions with friends and family. This year, the buzz is louder than usual. Forecasters are seeing signals we haven't witnessed in years, and meteorologists are paying extra attention to the data. Patterns across the globe suggest the UK could be facing a very different winter, one that breaks from the mild wet trend of recent years. There's talk of unusual weather events, and people everywhere are wondering what's in store. This isn't just another routine forecast. The headlines are already hinting at something out of the ordinary, and experts are urging us to pay attention. We're talking about major atmospheric shifts that could bring real change to our doorsteps. From stronger storms to unexpected cold snaps, the possibilities are both exciting and a little daunting. So, what's making this winter so special? Why is everyone from scientists to school children buzzing with anticipation? Let's dive into the story behind the forecast. We'll look at the science, the signals, and what it could all mean for you and your family in the months ahead. Here's what you need to know as we head into what could be one of the most talked about winters in recent memory. For years, UK winters have been mild, wet, and windy, Atlantic air dominating the scene. But this year, the forecast is flipping the script. Meteorologists see strong signals for a colder, drier winter, with high-pressure systems likely to block out the usual mild Atlantic flow. The Met Office notes the probability of a cold winter is higher than it's been in years. Instead of a safe bet on mild weather, the odds for cold, average, or mild are nearly equal. A big shift. Drier, less windy conditions are also on the cards, classic signs of blocking high pressure. This means we need to reset our expectations. The mild, damp winters we've grown used to may not show up this year. The stage is set for a colder, more settled pattern, especially as the season begins. It's a fascinating change that could impact everyone across the UK. To understand this winter's potential, we need to look to the Pacific Ocean and a climate pattern called La Niña. La Niña is when cooler than average waters in the tropical Pacific shift global weather patterns, including ours. It changes air currents and influences the jet stream, making high-pressure blocks over the Atlantic more likely. For the UK, this means a greater chance of cold air sweeping in from the north or east. We're in a La Niña phase now, and it's expected to last through winter. While it doesn't guarantee a cold winter, it stacks the odds in that direction. La Niña is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a strong starting signal. This year, it's the foundation for a potentially colder season. Now let's head high into the stratosphere to meet the Quasi-Biennial Oscillation, or QBO. The QBO is a regular shift in winds above the equator, flipping from west to east every couple of years. When these winds blow from the east, they weaken the Atlantic jet stream, making blocking highs more likely. This winter, the QBO is in its easterly phase, lining up perfectly with La Niña. An easterly QBO also increases the chance of sudden stratospheric warming, which can disrupt the polar vortex and send cold air south. So, we have two major global patterns, La Niña and an easterly QBO, working together. Think of it as a river slowed by dams. La Niña builds the dams, QBO slows the flow. This double whammy is why forecasters are leaning towards a colder winter. The odds for a significant cold spell are higher than they've been in years. You've probably heard the term polar vortex tossed around in the news, often linked to dramatic headlines about extreme cold. But the reality is, the polar vortex is a normal and essential part of our planet's atmosphere, a vast swirling mass of frigid air that sits high above the North Pole, circling like a giant icy crown. It's not a new phenomenon, nor is it always a sign of disaster. In fact, it's been shaping our winters for centuries, quietly influencing weather patterns across the northern hemisphere. When the vortex is strong and stable, it acts like a barrier, keeping the coldest Arctic air locked up far to the north. This means milder, more manageable winters for places like the UK, where people can enjoy crisp days and even see green fields under winter sunshine. But if the vortex weakens or gets disrupted by natural shifts in the atmosphere or global weather patterns, that icy air can escape its Arctic prison. Suddenly, frigid winds and severe, cold snaps can surge southward, catching communities off guard and transforming landscapes overnight. This winter, meteorologists are already seeing early signs that the polar vortex may be weaker than usual. Stratospheric winds above the North Pole are slowing down, hinting at a less stable vortex and raising the stakes for what could unfold in the months ahead. Adding to the intrigue, we're also experiencing a La Niña event in the Pacific Ocean, which can shift global weather patterns, and an easterly phase of the quasi-biennial oscillation, or QBO. Both of these factors make the polar vortex more vulnerable to disruption, increasing the odds of cold air outbreaks. If the vortex does weaken further, it could be the final piece that allows Arctic air to surge south, sweeping across the UK and bringing the kind of wintry weather we haven't seen in years. Deep freezes, heavy snow, and icy winds. When all three drivers, La Niña, the QBO, and a weak polar vortex, line up at the same time, the risk of significant cold and snow rises sharply. It's a rare alignment that meteorologists watch closely, because it can tip the balance toward a truly severe winter. That's why forecasters are on high alert this year, monitoring every shift in the atmosphere and preparing for the possibility of major winter weather events. It's not just media hype. There's real science and real concern behind the headlines. With all these factors in play, there's genuine potential for a colder, snowier season across the UK. Communities could see more frequent snowfalls, deeper drifts, and longer stretches of icy weather than we've experienced in recent memory. The stage is set for a winter that could be truly memorable, one that stands out from recent years and reminds us just how powerful and unpredictable our atmosphere can be. November will start off familiar, mild, wet, and windy, thanks to Atlantic air. But by mid-month, a dramatic shift is forecast. High pressure is expected to build to the north, blocking the usual westerly flow. This blocking pattern will shut the door on mild air and open the way for colder winds from the north or east. Temperatures will drop, and overnight frosts will become more common. The weather will turn drier and calmer, a stark contrast to the blustery start. This late November transition is the first step toward a cold winter. It's when the background signals from La Niña and QBO start showing up in our daily weather. If this pattern change happens as predicted, December could start colder than we've seen in years. The potential for widespread wintry conditions will rise. This is the key moment that could unlock a truly wintry season. Get ready for a noticeable change. As December arrives, the cold pattern is likely to lock in. High pressure to the north or northeast will keep cold air flowing into the UK. Expect temperatures consistently below average, with crisp, frosty mornings. Dry, clear days will be common, but don't be fooled. The sun won't offer much warmth. Nights will be especially cold, with widespread frost and icy patches. The big question: will it snow? With cold air from the north or east, the risk is higher than usual. Any moisture could bring snow, especially in the north and east, and even at lower levels. While a white Christmas isn't guaranteed, the ingredients are there more often than in recent years. December's theme: sustained cold, settled weather, a big change from recent mild, wet years. Time to wrap up warm and prepare for real winter. So, what does all this mean for your daily life as winter tightens its grip? The arrival of snow and ice isn't just a pretty scene outside your window, it brings real changes to your routine and home. First, you'll probably find yourself reaching for the thermostat more often. With temperatures dropping, your heating will be working overtime, and that means your energy bills are likely to climb. It's a good idea to keep an eye on your usage and consider ways to stay warm without breaking the bank. Now's the perfect time. to check your heating system. Make sure your boiler is serviced and working efficiently. Draft-proofing your home by sealing up gaps around windows and doors can make a big difference, keeping the warmth in and the cold out. Cold spells also mean more travel disruption. Icy roads, frosty mornings, and the real risk of snow can make getting around tricky. Public transport may be delayed, and driving conditions can be hazardous. Prepare your car for winter by checking your tires, topping up antifreeze, and keeping an ice scraper handy. Allow extra time for journeys, and don't forget to clear your windscreen before setting off. Stay updated with local weather forecasts so you can plan your day safely. Sudden changes in weather can catch you off guard, so it pays to be informed. On the bright side, there's a real chance for more snow. Great news for kids and snow lovers. Sledging, snowball fights, and building snowmen can bring a bit of magic to the season. But snow brings responsibility too. Check on elderly neighbors and those who may struggle in the cold. A simple gesture, like bringing groceries or clearing a path, can make a big difference. Drier, calmer weather means fewer storms, but if it lasts, it could impact water levels in reservoirs and rivers. It's something to keep in mind as winter progresses. For most, it's a chance to enjoy crisp winter walks under blue skies. The fresh air and beautiful scenery can be a real mood booster, even on the coldest days. The key is to be prepared for cold, ice, and snow. Stock up on essentials, keep walkways clear, and make sure you have salt or grit for icy patches. This winter could be very different from previous years, so ready yourself to stay safe, warm, and maybe even find new ways to enjoy the season. Remember, a little planning goes a long way. With the right preparation, you can make the most of whatever winter brings. The winter of 2025-26 is shaping up to be the most interesting in a decade. La Niña, an easterly QBO, and a weakened polar vortex are all pointing to a higher chance of prolonged cold and dry spells. This isn't a guarantee of a deep freeze all season, but the signals are too strong to ignore. November may start mild, but a big pattern change is likely by December. Be ready for colder temperatures, higher heating costs, and possible travel disruption. Check your home, your car, and look out for neighbors. Stay up to date with reliable forecasts. Being informed is your best defense. Beyond the practical, this is a chance to watch global weather patterns play out in real time. Stay prepared, stay safe, and stay curious. This winter promises to be anything but boring. Wrap up warm, and let's see what unfolds.